Welcome. What you bring, who you are, enriches all of us. We say welcome to your joy, your hope, your pride. We say welcome to your grief, your fear, and your anger. And the parts of you that are not yet ready to be seen and heard, welcome to them as well. For we are people of faith, faith in our expansive welcome, faith in our ability to grow, faith in the precious gifts of our truth, faith in the promise of trying, learning, and changing, faith in our capacity to know ourselves and each other ever deeply. Welcome to you who are gay, straight, bi, pan, lesbian, queer, questioning, unable to be contained in any words. Welcome to you who are trans, cis, genderqueer, non-binary, intersex, agender, beyond words. Welcome to you who are human. Welcome to you who love and are loved. Welcome to you who are blessed, which is all of you. May this time together be a blessing.
This is called the Pride Flame. We light this flame to ignite our hearts and minds, the spark of knowledge that enlightens, the shimmering hope that burns, the blazing love that engulfs our actions, the bonfire of our commitment. We light this flame for those who celebrate themselves, who fear, who hope, who persevere, who stand on the side of love for all. We light this flame for those who have been ridiculed, that they may find peace, for those who have fought to marry, that they may celebrate, for those who live in uncertainty in the world, that they may have hope. We light this flame to renew our commitment that no one shall ever again suffer for the right to love. We light this flame to celebrate our kaleidoscope of diversity, working, loving, and living on the side of love. For this, we light this flame.
Would you please rise and embody your spirit and join us in singing Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. For Time of All Ages today, Amy has sent in a story for us. And so we would invite you today to just stick around where you are, kids in the crowd, and after the story, we'll excuse you and we'll go through our arch and singing together and the Children's Covenant at the completion of Amy's story.
This month we've been exploring renewal, and today that takes... Good morning, my name is Amy Brock, and I'm the Director of Religious Exploration for Children and Youth. This month we've been exploring renewal, and today that takes us to how we might experience renewal when we are in community together. And that reminded me of a story. Our story today is called Just Add Glitter. Bored, ignored, or feeling down? Need some fancy in your town? Want some shine up on your crown? Just add some glitter. Try a speck, a fleck, a sprinkle. See how things begin to twinkle. A little here and a little there. Glitter, glitter everywhere. Is your bedroom such a bore? How about some sparkles on your door? Could your art use something more? Just add some glitter. A dash, a dusting, or a touch. It's so small, but it does so much. A little here and a little there. Glitter, glitter everywhere. Are your walls asking for glitz? Looking for more flashy bits? It's time for putting on the Ritz. Just add some glitter. A pinch, a cupful, or a mound. Glitter shimmer by the pound. A little here and a little there. Glitter, glitter everywhere. Have you made your whole world gleam? Do you love this glistening dream? Then grab a ton and have some fun and scream. Add more glitter. Uh-oh, stop. We've got enough. We're now lost all in the sparkly stuff. I thought we needed all this bling, but it looks like it might be too much of a good thing. The glitter made it hard to see that what sparkles most is you and me. I hope you all find some sparkles today.
If you guys would like to join us, please stand and make the arch. We do have, this is summer RE season. So if you are interested in heading on back to RE, let's go ahead and make our, we'll say the Children's Covenant in just a second. And here we go. In this place, I am kind. In this place, I am loving. In this place, I am a friend to the earth and all animals and people. In this place, I am loved. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Good morning, everyone, and happy Father's Day. For those for whom this might be a difficult time, just as Dirk was extending in the welcome, we hope that everyone receives nourishment around the part of their heart that would light up or be lit on Father's Day. So may there be love and healing if that is where you are, and joy and celebration if that is where you are. And a special welcome to those who are on Zoom, whether this is your first time or returning after many times, a special welcome. And for those who are here, possibly for the first time or haven't been here for a while, it occurred to me that we don't often explicitly invite you to coffee hour. And so this is just one of the ways that we hang out together after service and get a little more acquainted, enjoy a beverage, strike up a conversation about the service or whatever. But anyway, everyone is welcome to stay for coffee. I do want to go back a week and make a big statement of gratitude, both for Marty, Rudolph, and the rest of the adult spiritual development team for bringing in Lyanda Haupt, the author of Rooted. It was really, I was told, a lovely conversation with her and a book that helps us to open our hearts and lives to including nature as part of our scientific, mystical appreciation of where we are. And then followed up by this last Thursday with Christina Ziegler's dramatic show of the splendors of the night sky. So more than 45 people were there. It was just really a lovely time. So this week we learned that YouTube let us know that our channel is officially blocked in Russia. And so what was interesting was that, exactly, I know, right. So initially Leora shared that news because she's our YouTube sort of, link. And she said, I don't know if this is a good thing or bad thing. And then Reverend Scott said, well, no, I think that's a feather in our cap. So anyway, I also just want to say that if you have been coming and are interested in learning about membership, my apologies that we haven't had classes during the spring as I intended, but there is a sign up at the kiosk just generally of interest to become a member of UUFCO, and then I'll be getting some dates in the early summer. So this next week, our LGBTQ plus group is meeting on Tuesday night from 5 to 6 at the Grove. So you and your friends are invited to attend that meeting, and they're just wanting to create a group of support and fellowship. Friday night is a circle supper. There's only 2 people signed up, so this is a way also to get to know folks. Now, next Sunday is we learned that Vocal Seniority is going to be hosting, if you will, a rally for reproductive rights. This will be next Sunday, the 23rd, from 1 to 2 at the Peace Corner, and that's the corner of Greenwood and Wall. It's still on the other side of the river, and that's at 1 o'clock. So we're inviting folks, if you'd like to go, you don't have to be a woman to attend, but bring a sack lunch, and we'll have materials to make signs if you have something that you'd like to have on a sign particularly. And so Women's Connections invites you to that exciting time. And too bad we wouldn't have our t-shirts available yet. And so we are going to have, slide please, the t-shirts. So we have a cluster of hearts. They say love impacts lives. On the flip side, on the back side, is the logo of UUFCO. And Ginny McKee, is she here today? I believe there she is, haha, there she is. So we are going to be selling them. You can see her after the service, and we'll also have a sign up if you aren't prepared to pay for it today. We could send you the link, and so I'll have a sign up for you for that. But these are hopefully that we'll be wearing at different rallies or things that we go to together as a congregation. And if you're in a financial pinch, we can cover that as well. So just let us know if you'd like a scholarship, sort of, I don't know if you'd call it a scholarship, but all the same, for a t-shirt for the congregation. So with that, I'm going to say blessings on your day.
Thanks, Chela. It's the time for our offering, and we know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope. The house band is going to feature a song today in honor of Juneteenth weekend, and this Wednesday's Juneteenth. This is a song probably most famously rendered by Nina Simone, and it's called I'm Feeling Good, and it features Jesse.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. Rivers running free, you know how I feel. Blossoms in the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonflies out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me, and I'm feeling good. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling
This is a time where traditionally as a community we share joys and sorrows and intention, and we would invite you, I'm going to read a few of them from the congregation, and we would also invite you to take a moment to yourself if you would like, and to light candles on either side of the sanctuary for hopes or dreams that you would like to put out there. Our first joy is from Annis Henson. Joy to their first grandson, Nate, graduated at U of O Monday. They will be there. Congratulations to all the grads, despite early COVID. Oh, that's this Monday. Congratulations, Annis. This is from Tom Moore. In 9 days, Verlene Arnold, Judy Hulbert, and I will be off to sing in Italy, the Central Oregon Master Singers. This will certainly be a once-in-a-lifetime joy for us all. And if we do see the Pope, we will wish him blessings on his day from UUFCO. I appreciate that. This is the joy from Chela. A joy. As I was watering the plants in my garden last night, I was admiring the milkweed that was growing robustly. I remember that this plant grew from a seed distributed here one Sunday to strengthen pollinator pathways for the butterflies, especially who travel through these parts in migration. It felt good. It gave me joy to feel that I was in partnership with the quiet processes of the earth, even if in just a teeny tiny way. I plant this seed, the seed grows up into a flowering plant, and the migrating butterflies find their way to it by their remarkably keen sense of smell. It is a marvel. Thanks, Chela. As we enter into this time for prayer and meditation, I'd offer you a reading the heart of both and. Spirit of life, ever adapting and renewing, we come together this morning with yearnings that do not match. We yearn for stability, for even one moment of feeling like we know what is going on, for the ability to predict and prepare for what is coming next. Yet we also yearn for change. We ache for a world that turns aside from racism, violence, dehumanization, and disregard for suffering. We pray for a change in the illness, grief, isolation, incarceration, and vulnerability of our loved ones. We reach for connections that will remind us that we are worthy as we are, and we reach for connections that will help us to become our best selves. Hold us in the heart of both and. Cradle us in the mystery. Cherish us in the eternal presence of love and encourage us on the path of growth and development. As individuals and as people, help us to become who we are called to be. Lead us to open pathways to deeper wisdom through reconciliation, self-respect, and mutual respect, compassion, owning and making amends for our mistakes. Source of wonder, move us to express and live in gratitude for the beauty of this world, the loving people in our lives, and this day of possibility. To this we add the meditations of our hearts as we enter into a time of silence. Check. Last weekend, we celebrated the end of our kind of church calendar, and we had our flower service. This is the beginning of our summer offerings, and on behalf of the worship team, we offer some reflections by the Men's Fellowship. And so we've got 4 members of our men's fellowship who are going to come up and join me in a conversation about the renewal work that they've been doing around the group. And first of all, I want to, there's kind of a process through the worship team when we reach out to members, following up on ideas that we have from the committee. And I just want to offer appreciation for the enthusiasm that request was greeted with. It doesn't always happen that way, but this time it was just like all of a sudden all of the emails started returning and like, oh my gosh, absolutely, we would love a time. So I'm really excited. They've been engaging in a lot of work, a lot of organization over the past year and a half. We're going to hear a little bit about that and the transformation and the intent around renewal that they've been going through. It's going to be, some of it's going to be specific to the men's group, but our hope is that our hope, I think, as a group, is that it's also kind of an opportunity for you to hear about like the kind of transformative work that happens in community and happens when people in this community come together and outside the greater community as well, and work toward renewal and transformation. So first of all, thank you very much. It's great to be with you guys today. And on Memorial Day, just in the immediate past, this group of people hosted a renewal weekend. And I wonder if we could maybe go through and get impressions from each of you, and please do introductions as well, Stephen, and hear a little bit about that weekend. Okay, thank you.
Sure. Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Stephen Parkin. As Dirk said, this renewal that we hosted was our first renewal weekend, and it's no secret that the congregation has been growing by leaps and bounds in recent years, and then COVID was an absolute catalyst to that. So there's been a lot of desire for greater connection, getting to know each other better in the congregation in general. But with this being our first renewal, and it being on Memorial Day of all days, the day we could get to church, we really weren't sure what to expect, who we'd have, who would be interested in turning out, and how things would go. And what I have to say is my favorite moment of the renewal was when we first got together on Friday. We'd intended just to do some sort of introductions and preliminary work. And the first time that we met in our small groups, which we did 6 times throughout the weekend, the group of 5 guys, everybody in all of the groups wanted to immediately get into deep conversations. It was amazing seeing the openness and readiness for deep spiritual connection with one another. It was really, truly moving. And it set the tone for the weekend for us in a really powerful way.
Hi, I'm Mark Deerbeck. My favorite moment of the weekend was just a small thing. You know, we met in small groups, and that was really great, and that's probably the most powerful aspect of the weekend for me, just being able to share with other men my story and my experiences. But my favorite moment was drumming in the afternoon with Stephen and just connecting on a really just a fun level and a lighter level rather than the whole thing being hard and difficult. But that was probably the favorite moment.
Hi there, I'm Duke Chadsey. I've got my daughter here today, my youngest daughter, Danielle. Hi, Danny. And I look at this work as being so important for me as a man to understand who I am and how I can then be better in myself, better as a father, better as a partner, better within the community. And the process to do that that we did during this weekend was to form connections and share stories. And in that process of sharing stories, we learn more about each other, and we learn that we're not alone in these journeys, that we all have stories, and they're not always great. Some are very, very hard. And in listening to other men share, there is a sense of connection. There's also healing in sharing. And I think it's important to say we're not there to fix each other. We're just there to listen. And just the part of listening is just so powerful. And so my favorite was sharing, but also there was a part at the end on Saturday night, and it's hard to kind of describe this, but we were in a circle, and we had the opportunity to stand up and face the man next to us and acknowledge them, and just look them in the eyes and greet them. And it was a very powerful and intimate moment amongst each and every man. We walked from one man to the next man to the next man, and just spent a moment of a connection. It's very intimate. So that's a little bit about my story.
Hi, my name is Bob Barber. And there's a deep repetition here. We should have checked in, because my favorite moment too is the small group experience. We break into 5 men, 5. We meet 5 times. In between, we do large group experiences. And the small group for me is amazing. If you go to a coffee hour, you'll see a lot of men around the outside of the room. It's kind of like a high school dance, and a lot of people, women in the middle. And there's this struggle to figure out who we're going to talk to and what we're going to say and what do we look like, and all that kind of stuff. When we get into these small groups, what happens is that it's a totally different experience, because we start sharing a little bit about our journeys. And it's not mandatory. Somebody wants to pass, they can pass, But what happens is that we see each other differently. We see each other vulnerable. We see each other experiencing life at a different level. It's a very spiritual experience, because watching the men move from their head to their heart or soul and talk about it. And it's very tearful. So there, sitting here thinking about it. But it's a very vulnerable experience. It's a very spiritual experience that you don't realize until you come through it and come out the other side. The beauty for me is I've done a few of these before, but the experience forces me to look at myself again, where I'm at now, how I got here, and where I'm going to go. So to me, it forces a renewal of the experience. It's a renewal of the energy in a different way. And so, to me, that's really important.
Thank you. That weekend was the process, I know, of a lot of research and a lot of action, a lot of intent around bringing this group to be. And I would love it if you guys could talk a little bit about your the work that led up to this experience.
So I've been with the church for 34 years. So I'm going to bring a very quick historical perspective. A lot of people don't realize that Men's Fellowship has been going on here for a number of years. We started with little workshops that were fostered by the Unitarians 17 years ago. We had our first workshop. Don Hartzell remembers, Dave McGurn remembers, I'm sure. Ron Clark probably remembers. These are all people who attended the very first one. And I probably missed somebody, but... and from that grew small groups. We have had small groups of men meeting for all of those years, but it's always over there. And it got over there because we had so much construction, so much change of leadership, COVID, and a few other things. The groups in some ways isolated themselves, and we lost that sense of fellowship. And so over the years, we wanted to do a renewal, bring the men's groups and the men back together again. And it was a perfect time because we have so many new men in the church that don't know each other. And it's an opportunity for us to start the energy again so that people can connect just as friends to start with and maybe share their journeys. So it's kind of the history. It's not brand new. It's been around for a while.
Thank you.
Well, the process. The process, I'm going to speak for myself, but the process started, for me, we got some meetings with a larger group of men here and started developing the embryo of a fellowship. And in that process, we found another fellowship that's been in, a men's fellowship that's been in San Diego for 35, 40 years. And I contacted them, and immediately Mike Dorfey, who you'll probably hear later, said, come on down to our renewal weekend, and I did. And that for me opened up the idea that we could do this here at some point. And that was a big part of it for me.
Yeah, Dirk earlier brought up the ways in which we can grow together in community and fellowship. And I want to acknowledge the ways in which individual people could be real catalysts for that. A couple of years ago, Bob was a really major force in bringing the men together in the fellowship and beginning our monthly meetings. And then Mark stepped up as we were beginning to plan the renewal. And these two men individually have had an enormous impact on, the 30 some of us that were at the renewal weekend. And I think we've provided an amazing start a new start for this congregation, for the men in the congregation.
Yeah, I would just say we had some very nice momentum amongst us. We met on a weekly basis, and also with Mike Dorfey down in San Diego, brought together, leaned heavily on his experience. I would say, though, that he didn't create the agenda for us. We created the agenda with just his input and guidance. It was all ours. It was very intentional. We ended up having about 26 men, and which we think is a great start, and it's just a start. And it was a combination of some breakout groups of small men discussing things. It was sharing some stories amongst the larger groups. It was some chanting, which I'm not sure. I think we're getting some chanting, which I actually found to be very impactful. There's my small group right there. And some ritual at the end. So it was incredibly powerful and a moving experience.
Although he's not here today, as far as I know, I'd like to let the congregation know that Reverend Scott has been part of the process from the very beginning. He and I had a conversation about 2 years ago, right after COVID, and he was acknowledging that there's this influx of new men that have shown up. I mean, we've just grown a lot. And he has part of the process because he would like to make sure that we're all integrated as a community. And the men's fellowship is not intended to work in isolation with the congregation. It's intended to participate more fully and provide service in different ways, and we can speak to that later. But I just wanted to acknowledge that he's been part of the whole process.
Thanks, Bob. We do have a couple, I think maybe 3 or 4 pictures. Would one of you guys like to voice over? I mean, these as they come up.
I'll say it feels funny being part of a boys' club and wearing a boys' club t-shirt. It's not my normal style. All of these things were donated by the church in San Diego. They donated the t-shirts, they donated the material, they donated and sponsored the gentleman who helped lead us through this. They really want to have a unique fellowship, so that's the larger group. Someone else can comment on this picture. It's a great picture.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, so that was, this one's Saturday evening, kind of a wrap-up ceremony. And the one before that was my small group, which was our breakout group, stayed the same the entire time. I think we had 4 or 5 breakout sessions, same group of men. So we established that sense of trust amongst us. And we had a group meeting, a group picture before that, I think, as well.
All right. These guys spoke a little bit about chant, and I think we've got a slide of those. Leo, it's the Journey chant? This is the one? It's a Journey or Voyager? Journey. Okay. Would one of you guys like to? Nice. We were hoping Nathan would show up.
It goes something like this, and what we're going to do is we'll try and go through it once by ourselves. Our lead singer Nathan isn't here today, but it goes a little bit like this: we are going on a journey together, taking it easy, taking it slow, no more hurry. No more worry, nothing to carry, let it all go. Okay, so it works in repetition. So we'll do it with the whole congregation 3 times, because we're all in this journey together. Each of you has a journey. You don't have to share it right now, but we all have journeys, and so it's kind of a unifying chant that we do. So we'll do it 3 times. And feel free to sing it out. I wish Nathan was here. Ready? We are going on a journey together, taking it easy, taking it slow, no more hurry, no more worry, nothing to carry, let it all go. We are going on a journey together, taking it easy, taking it slow, no more hurry, no more worry, nothing to carry, let it all go. We are going on a journey together, taking it easy, taking it slow, no more hurry, no more worry, nothing to carry, let it all go.
Thanks so much for sharing, you guys. Cheers. So I'm curious about the nature. Bob, you mentioned kind of like the boys' club. To an extent, that's can be kind of potentially uncomfortable for some of us to be part of that, and with the T-shirts and everything. But what is talk about the role of men's work, or the power of men's work, and why this group was drawn toward facilitating this kind of work in the community.
Well, I'll say one of the things that was really meaningful for me was the opportunity to create cross-generational connections and friendships with other men. That's something that I think our society is becoming much more poor at, for providing opportunities for men in particular to have those sort of cross-generational and generally pluralistic sorts of relationships. And that was something that I was able to find. And I think it was very meaningful to the men who were there. We put a lot of effort and intention into balancing the groups around different backgrounds and interests and ages and previous levels of connection, people who didn't know each other, in order to facilitate both not just a deepening of bonds, but also a broadening of bonds laterally, to sort of embed us in that mesh of relationships that creates a community, creates a home.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, on a level for, I feel like it's important for connection, like we've been talking about, community, and not just the men's community, but a bigger community, and also for personal growth, and just realizing kind of who I am, and then also realizing that, you know, there's parts where I can grow and be bigger and be more present and more available for the world.
Yeah, I think that, you know, if you look at where men form bonds, it's often in the office and places that are not necessarily conducive for vulnerability. They're actually fairly competitive often. And to have an environment like this that was safe and created safe space for men to share stories and connect and bond is really unique, and that helps us become better men ourselves and also become better men in the community, which is so important. So I think it's a really special experience we have here, and I would also put a pitch that we're just getting started in this. And if this is something of interest of any man you may be in the audience here or you know of, this is something we would like to continue.
Well, I think one of the other goals of the Men's Fellowship, besides the individual process of seeing where people are at, what we find is a real examination of the cultural norms of what it is to be a man, which none of us really meet up to. And so as we do our journey and we talk about these things, it really makes us more, I think, open and available to a larger community of people. Historically, many men don't do that. You know, they're in their self or their box or whatever you want to say. There's an expression of being in the box. And so that's really important. And then what happens is we get more connection, we get spin-offs. We have someone like Bob Adine, who I think's here, who's really taking on a task of putting some people together and working on the playground. And we have Mike Reed over here, and he's putting together a group of men who are going to start working the coffee hour. And there's this sense of weaving more of our activities as men into the congregation itself and supporting the congregation. Now, we do that in a selfish point because we also enjoy doing that. You know, it helps us bridge that gap. I'll stop there, but there's one word that we haven't said or talked about. It's actually a lot of fun. There is a lot of laughing. Usually we're either laughing at ourselves or we're sharing someone else laughing at themselves. But there's a lot of fun because you break down some of those cultural barriers and you just kind of hang out. And that's just really important as all of us examine where we are now and where we need to be. And are we really following our values and goals and soul agendas? And you do that in multiple ways over the weekend. Large groups, small groups, fun, play, and that's why in the chant it starts talking about going slow. Park your worries. You know, if you go through the words, you can see it. And it allows the opening up. And that opening up is really important. But I can speak for myself. If I don't work at it, I just kind of go back to the way I was. And that's why it's important we do renewals periodically. And just kind of get back in the groove.
Thanks, Bob. I'm curious, moving forward, what is the routine around the Men's Fellowship group for those folks in the community who might be interested? What's going to be happening moving forward or on the immediate horizon?
On the most immediate horizon, Tuesday at 7 o'clock over in Linus Pauling, we're going to have a gathering, a monthly gathering for men, and that's just the beginning. Just to talk about the last weekend and talk about like where we're going, what do we want this to become? Because this is a shared thing. This is a shared group for us. And beyond that, we're talking about some other gatherings monthly, and we'll have some other things on the horizon.
Thanks, Mark.
People who are relatively new, you're really invited just to contact one of us and ask how does this work and how do we get involved. One of the things we want to do is make sure you sign up out in the front on the kiosk for your email. We have about 80 people on our email, primarily men, just letting them know what's happening. There's a monthly meeting. There's also, and that, I want to say that's designed because there's a lot of men who don't want to belong to a small group. They don't have the time, but they like to check in and meet some new men. That's what the monthly meeting's about, and it's worth doing. There are currently 7 small groups of men that meet regularly. There's probably enough men in here to form 4 or 5 more groups over the next year or so. It's important to let us know that by contacting either myself or any of these guys, or Shayla's got a list going too, I believe, and just say you're interested in a group, and then we periodically, usually once in the spring and once in the fall, we bring all the guys together who are looking for a group, and we try and form groups. So you have the monthly meeting, you have small groups for those who want to do it, and then we have other service and small group opportunities. So if nothing else, get yourself on the list. It's really helpful.
I would just add that although our desire is to grow as men among men, the women play an incredibly important supportive role in all that. And if anyone would like to get more information or support your partner or your spouse, we encourage that, because sometimes men need a little extra nudge.
Fair enough. Is there anything else that you guys would like to share with the congregation? Yep, good, thanks, Mark.
I have probably one last thing. It's my second to one last thing. No. One last thing is that, and Reverend Scott has spoken very eloquently about this also. We don't want to create silos. We don't want to have just a men's fellowship, a women's fellowship, club here. The goal over time is to have some integrated activities, both at a spiritual level as well as a fun level. And it's important just to note that's the long-term goal. And it's one that Reverend Scott is very interested in doing, to make it kind of blend together. But that's probably over the next year or so. So we're in for the long run, and if you want to join us, let us know.
And I just wanted to reiterate one thing that Bob said earlier, which is that we get to have a lot of fun together. If you want to come and bang on things or go on a hike or talk about your feelings, we do all those things and a lot more. So we have a lot of fun together.
Thank you. Well, thanks to all of you guys for your advocacy, for your leadership, for your agency in bringing this work to the congregation and to renewing it. Thank you very much.
It needs to be said that this is a world premiere, written by our very own Chris Patrick, Chanley, Jimmy Buffett.
A little bit of that, but some of it is just that we enjoy just getting away from the concrete and let us go into a non-data zone periodically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Up at 4 o'clock, the dogs are ready. Who set their clocks? Their routine is steady. I've
Would you please join us in the reading of the UUFCO covenant? Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, to help one another. We end our gathering with gratitude for camaraderie, shared wisdom, goodwill, and support that we will extend to each other within this community. May we continue to bless each other with these gifts, and may we reflect those blessings back out into the world as we minister to those around us. Have a great day.